I knew I must have done something wrong. And I found her in my house. She's kind of...
I am out at her house now. I just went in her home because I'm so worried about her.
When Matthew Hoffman was finally captured, the police discovered that rooms of his house were lined wall-to-wall with leaves. The floors of other rooms were likewise covered completely in leaves, all of which were believed to have been collected within a matter of days. But Matthew Hoffman's love for leaves didn't end there. He had been also working as a professional tree trimmer just a short time before committing his atrocious crimes and, in fact, was known to have always had a love of trees and leaves. This video will detail the horrific crimes of Matthew Hoffman in mid-November of 2010 that victimized the Hermann family and their friend Stephanie Sprang. Previous to the crimes that he committed in 2010, Hoffman was arrested in 2001 for first-degree arson, burglary, and theft after setting a condominium ablaze in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. He was sentenced to 8 years in prison. At the time, Hoffman was also working as a professional tree trimmer. It was clear that his obsession with trees and nature was getting a bit strange. Still, no one could have predicted what he would do in 2010. On the night of November 9, 2010, Matthew Hoffman positioned himself in the woods across from the home of Tina Hermann in Apple Valley, Mount Vernon, Ohio, after parking his car a mile away and walking there. The house was relatively isolated and there were few neighbors in the area. He set up his sleeping bag and camped there until the next morning. Hoffman waited until the 2 kids in the house, Cody Maynard and Sarah Hermann, went off to school. Then, once their mother Tina Hermann went out to the store, Hoffman broke into the house and waited. As soon as Tina returned from the store, Hoffman dragged her into a bedroom and stabbed her several times with a hunting knife, killing her. What Hoffman did not predict, however, is that Tina's friend Stephanie Sprang was coming to meet Tina at her house that day. So, Stephanie, who had no idea there was a murder going on inside, entered the house and found herself being brutally stabbed in the chest by Hoffman. Hoffman continued to stab her many times after she was dead. After the 2 murders, the family dog began to bark wildly, so Hoffman decided to kill the dog as well. He then dragged all 3 of them to the bathtub, dismembered them one by one, and put their bodies in trash bags. Just after attempting to clean up the mess, the 2 kids, Cody and Sarah, arrived home from school. As soon as they walked through the door, Hoffman sprung on the children and stabbed Cody, an 11-year-old boy, in the back of the head, killing him immediately. He then stabbed Cody many more times after he was dead. Hoffman then chased Sarah, a 13-year-old girl, up into her room and tied her up with the cord from the fan in her room. After killing the other members of her family, Matthew Hoffman gagged Sarah Hermann and threw her in the back of Stephanie Sprang's Jeep next to the trash bags containing the dead bodies. Hoffman drove the Jeep to his own car, a Toyota Yaris parked a mile from the family's home, and transferred Sarah into that car. He then drove back to his own home and locked Sarah in a bathroom while he hid the bodies of her family. Went back to the Hermann's house, stole the family truck, and planned to use it to retrieve gas cans that he would use to burn the home down. The truck, however, stalled out, so Hoffman had to abandon it in a parking lot. Hoffman chained Sarah up in a crawl space for around 3 days. The room was covered in leaves, dark, cold, and wet. Hoffman repeatedly raped the little girl. He only fed her rotten food. He fashioned a diaper out of a trash bag that he taped to her body and didn't let her clean herself. On the other hand, Tina Hermann missed a day of work. She worked at the local Dairy Queen. She was not answering her phone or texts either, so her manager decided to go and check if everything was all right. She noticed that an unknown car was parked in the driveway with Tina's truck. She seemed that something was odd, so she called the local sheriff's office.
Sheriff Barber's office.
Hi, my name is Valerie Haythorne, and I work at a Dairy Queen. I'm the general manager out there. One of my employees did not show up for work this afternoon at 4 o'clock, which is totally uncharacteristic of her. She's one of my managers. I drove out by her house and went and knocked on the door, left her a note. She's not answering her phone, which is totally uncharacteristic. She's not answering her texts, and she is not at home, but her truck and her coat are in her house. Her truck's there and her coat is in the house. I'm very concerned about her.
What's her name?
Her name is Tina Hermann, Hermann.
Okay.
I know that she and her boyfriend are splitting up, and he can be a real jerk with her.
Okay. Do you have a phone number for her?
Oh God, I do, but it's in my phone. I'd have to call you back.
Okay, that's fine. What was your name again?
My name is Valerie Haythorne.
Okay. Okay, I will have a deputy swing out there and check on her.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime.
All right, bye.
Soon after the call, 2 different officers at different times went to check on the house, but the door was unanswered. The next morning, a deputy called the children's school to check if 13-year-old Sarah Maynard and 11-year-old Cody Maynard went to school. They were told that both children were at school on Wednesday, but hadn't showed up on Thursday. Soon a man named Ron Metcalf contacted the police to report his 41-year-old girlfriend missing, who was Tina's best friend, and had plans to see Tina on Wednesday, but he was unable to contact her after they last spoke on Wednesday at 12:40 p.m. On Thursday, Tina's boss, Valerie, decided to visit Tina's house again. She noticed that Tina's truck was gone from the driveway and only the unknown vehicle was parked, which was later determined as Stephanie's car. When the door went unanswered, she decided to go inside the house from an unlocked window at the back. After entering the house, she noticed blood on the bathroom floor and on the carpet, as well as blood splatters in the entire house. She quickly left the house and called the police.
This is Deputy Sylvia. Can I help you?
Yes, this is Valerie Haythorne. I called in last night about Tina Hermann being missing. I am out at her house now. I just went in her home because I'm so worried about her. There is blood everywhere.
Okay. Where are you at? I'm sorry. I just got back today, so.
Okay.
So you just need to kind of fill me in a little bit, okay?
Tina Hermann works for me. She did not show up for work yesterday, and we have not been able to locate her or her children for it's been 24 hours now. I just spoke with...
No, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Okay.
I just need an address. I just need an address.
481 Kings Beach Drive in Apple Valley.
Okay. Just give us a few minutes and we'll be in round, okay?
Okay.
Don't go back in the house.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying in the driveway.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
By Friday, November 12th, the police were officially investigating 4 disappearances. The family dog was also missing. The initial crime scene investigation indicated assault with bodily injury. The first suspect in the investigation was Tina's boyfriend Gregory, who was brought in for questioning as the couple was going through a split at the moment, so a lot of people thought he had something to do with their disappearances. But he was soon ruled out as a suspect as his alibi was confirmed. He was 1.5 hours away from the crime scene and worked from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. that Wednesday. With Gregory cleared, investigators had to move on with other leads. It was something found at the crime scene in Tina's house that became the most valuable piece of evidence. Investigators found 2 Walmart bags with 2 tarps and heavy-duty trash bags. They also found a receipt for the purchase. Detectives wasted no time and requested the surveillance footage from the Walmart in Mount Vernon. They were looking for someone who brought these items along with turkey and a t-shirt. It wasn't long before they found him. The suspect was a white male, 25 to 40 years old, brown hair and wearing a camouflage shirt and glasses. He was caught on the footage leading in a silver Toyota Yaris. They searched for any owners for the silver Toyota Yaris. It was then that they found a name: 30-year-old Matthew Hoffman. His vehicle matched the surveillance video. He had two addresses. One was his mother's 0.4 miles from Tina's, and the other, registered under his name, was 10 miles from Tina's. The search of the Knox County Sheriff's Office revealed that he was stopped near where Tina's truck was abandoned. Finally, the police knew where to look for Tina, Cody, Sarah, and Stephanie. Once the police obtained the search warrant, what they found at Matthew's home was bizarre. There were leaves everywhere. The living room floor was almost completely covered. Things only got weirder from there. There were bags of leaves lining every wall of the bathroom. In a freezer, they found 2 dead squirrels. But the biggest surprise was hidden in the basement. An officer discovered Sarah Minid lying on a pile of leaves. Her feet and hands were bound with a yellow rope and duct tape. She appeared unharmed physically and was taken to a hospital. After her recovery, she gave every detail of what happened that afternoon after she and her brother returned from school. Sarah was then released into her father's custody. After being arrested, Matthew Hoffman still refused to give up the locations of the bodies of the other 3 people.
Probably pulled into a field somewhere, and that's how the weeds got on there. If it's a random place, give me an idea where street it might be on or off of. But you gotta be able to narrow the field down from the whole county. And the dumping itself has to be less traumatic to recall than all the stuff that went on in the bathroom. Just tell us where to look. And I will stand up in court and say that you did. And I will go to Sarah myself and tell her the jog my memory. Right, that's the whole point, is will you see something that will, prompt your memory? But I want to talk about what the possibilities would be for that location. Okay? In other words, not across the street. You're not going to put bodies across the street. What would you do, from there? In terms of a place you might go.
Matt, we're not going to be mad at you if you don't know exactly, your memory is not exact, because you have said that you want to know. You're afraid to find out, but there's a part of you that wants to know. If it doesn't happen genuinely, then it doesn't happen. I'm not going to be upset.
It was only after law enforcement brokered a deal that involved taking the death penalty off the table that Hoffman revealed the location. Sometime after he killed them, he took their bodies out to a remote place in the woods where he climbed a large, hollow tree with an opening about 35 feet up in the air. He used this opening to dump the bodies into this hollow tree, where they surely would have never been found if Hoffman didn't tell law enforcement. In January 2011, Matthew Hoffman pleaded guilty to 10 counts and was sentenced to life without parole.